the big thing that's happened this weekend so far, other than Trump apparently having another successful golf tournament, ladies and gentlemen, I have a funny feeling he's going to win that tournament today. Something just tells me. It's literally North Korea, isn't it? He's just like Kim Jong-un in that regard. Anyhow, other than, his golf prowess, we've, of course, yesterday we had the hands-off protests where lots of people, lots of cities showed up. This is a Brian Tyler Cohen video. I might not sit through his whole commentary because sometimes I do take, I don't always need his commentary. I'll say I respect him as a creator, but I don't always need his commentary. So yeah, let's just get right into this.
Hands off our Social Security!
Hands up! Hands up! Hands up! Yes! Yes!
Today is the hands-off protest across the United States with more than 1,400 demonstrations scheduled in all 50 states across the country. These protests erupted even in deep red states, with reports suggesting that the turnout was even larger than in 2017, the Women's March, when that brought millions of people onto the streets in opposition to Trump and his administration. And I should remind you that that energy in 2017 ultimately culminated into Democrats winning the House by the biggest margin in modern American history, flipping a staggering 41 seats to Democratic control. Organizers of the protests noted three demands: an end to the billionaire takeover and rampant corruption of the Trump administration, an end to slashing federal funds for Medicaid, Social Security, and other programs that working people rely on, and an end to the attacks on immigrants, trans people, and other communities. And of course, one of these billionaires has opted to take the entirely wrong message out of today. In response to a video of Rachel Maddow discussing these protests, one of Elon's right-wing fanboy accounts posted, "Terror! Soros-funded Indivisible is openly admitting they are behind the 1,300 paid protests happening today in all 50 states. Democrat billionaires are funding these uprisings and they should be held legally accountable for the violence and vandalism." To which Elon tweeted, "They will be." Spooky framing, huh? Except, small problem here, there is no terror, no violence, and no vandalism other than what Elon Musk himself is doing to our government, our economy, and our jobs. And yet, pretty telling that this guy is so fucking drunk with power that his response to these protests against him, where millions upon millions of Americans have taken to the streets to peacefully speak out against this corrupt White House, is to threaten them with prosecution. This is the exact
Well, it's the assumption of them committing the violence, right? It's the fact that he's just like, oh, they'll definitely destroy something or set something on fire. Listen, we're not to that point yet. Okay. Not only are we not to that point yet, I don't think it should ever get to that point. Firstly, I don't think violence or rioting should ever be a part of this process. It should always be peaceful. We cannot continue to just allow these people to lie without putting that correct information out there. That may be the only way right-wingers get some of this information. Think about that. Because they're never going to, or at least hardcore, maybe diehard MAGA people aren't going to be swayed either way, but people who might be MAGA just because of like maybe the podcast they listen to and whatnot, there's some of those people that might not get this information or hear about this information otherwise. And then they may be compelled, some of them, a percentage, right, may then be compelled to go Google, research something and be like, hey, so what was this? What did this sign say about tariffs are a tax on the American people? And someone who's MAGA who thinks tariffs will eventually work out, they just believe that what the people on the right, or some of them, are still saying, in that, there will be some pain or whatever. There will be like a sort of adjustment period where there's going to be some economic pain. Maybe what they understand is when they look up, tariffs pretty much only cause pain, that free trade is what actually helped our economy become what it became, that it wouldn't, in all likelihood, if we'd have just kept being a protectionist economy, that in all likelihood, we would not have grown to the point that our economy did. Our economy grew to what it did because of global trade. Obviously, there's some issues with global trade in that, you know, sometimes labor is outsourced to countries that, you know, have child labor or, you know, other forms of like wage slave type situation, or literal slavery. I don't, you know, just depends on what part of the world you're talking about sometimes. But when you talk about, yeah, that's an issue of potentially of the global supply chain, in that, you know, some things are not ethically sourced. And I think you work on improving those things individually rather than just saying, well, we're just going to put up walls and make everything here. It's just so weirdly like draconian. I just don't understand it.
Knowledge that we are awake, that we are clear-eyed, and that we are so ready to fight back.
Presidents who have the politics of Mussolini and the economics
Sounds like Jamie Raskin.
Hoover.
Herbert Hoover, baby.
But now what, Elon Musk and the Silicon Valley billionaire mafia?
Liked all the like bands and drum lines and shit. That was so cool. Very nice.
Even while they're literally sitting in the Kremlin. I want to tell you something.
Very good. The rest of the video is just protests. Like, look at this. Like, this is what this is, you know? Boston. Huge turnout in Boston. Are you kidding me? Another band and fucking drumline, dude. Yeah, that's sick. This is what this movement needs to look like. And it'll get bigger and bigger, I think, as time goes on, because the things that Trump is doing, he's so persistent on, and they're just completely insane. It's funny, man. Yep, people are pissed. This is once again on the hands-off protests. I wanted to see what was happening over at Fox about it, what their kind of spin on it was, see how we can approach that.
Meantime, hundreds of people protesting President Trump's policies in front of the Minnesota State Capitol in St. Paul today. It's one of hundreds of so-called hands-off rallies scheduled across the country and around the world. Madeline Rivera, live at the National Mall in D.C. with the very latest on what's happening in the nation's capital. Hello, Maddie.
Hi, good afternoon, Kevin. Well, event organizers had hoped that this would be the largest single-day protest against the Trump administration since President Trump retook office in January. And I can tell you there are thousands of people here from across the country. I want to show you a little bit of the crowd right now. You can see right here, if my photographer Dartis pans on over here to see a little bit of the crowd, you can see people here walking out. They're carrying their signs, things that say resist. They're carrying their flags. The crowd has remained peaceful, but man, these people are fired up. They are angry, and they've been very vocal about their frustrations. They're accusing President Trump and Elon Musk of a billionaire takeover. They're accusing them of shutting down America for parts, shutting down Social Security offices, firing federal workers. All they
So I see they're going to use this as an opportunity to try and fact check the general public rather than like directly insult them. I respect
They
it.
say to benefit the billionaire class. There are several groups here, civil rights groups, labor unions, climate organizations. Democratic members of Congress also spoke today, and they are hoping to take on a sharper message that they hope will be effective and resonate with voters as they try to come up with a strategy, an effective strategy to counter the Trump administration. Here's Congressman Jamie Raskin.
Vance and Musk, they may have access to artificial intelligence, but they've got no access to human intelligence. These founders of the Dark Enlightenment, as they call themselves, are no match for the founders of the actual Enlightenment.
And you know, Kevin, these protests are happening across the country, but I spoke to one attendee who said she traveled from Boston to be here in D.C. so that she can deliver a message directly to the Trump administration. She thought that that would be more effective, but I have to say, Kevin,
Boston.
President Trump
Fair
is not
enough.
here, of course. He's in Mar-a-Lago. Back to you.
Yes, he is. Madeline Rivera, who has a great deal of experience covering protests like that. Be safe, of course. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor.
I mean, be safe. Like, I that was the only. I mean, really, that was totally fair reporting. If I'm being honest, from Fox, I kind of expected to some spin there or something. But they're voicing what the people are saying about Trump as claims of, where it's like, I think the version of that I prefer reporting on would be rather what evidence there is of these things happening. Like I get that, like, is there evidence of a takeover? Not really, but like what do people base that claim on, right? Like, oh well, there are some serious issues with just how much they're cutting, the programs that they're cutting, how much they're cutting in terms of like the VA. Even, you look at the VA, they had just yesterday 10,000 HHS workers, I believe, or health workers nationwide got fired. So like they're and like other things that they've cut, like cancer research and things of that nature. It's so harmful. And if not to pay for a billionaire tax break, what else do you call it other than a billionaire takeover? Like, I don't know what else you say to that. So it's accusations of, but it's based on things that are happening in real life.